All righty. Welcome back, my beautiful Lotus petals. Welcome back to Uma's Lotus Lounge, streaming live on MeetMe and on YouTube. All right, guys. Today we have a topic. We have a topic for today. And the topic is October endings and November beginnings. You know, we're ending October this week and we're starting a whole new month. So but November is such an important month because it's 2 months until we end the year. And if you guys have been coming to my Lotus Lounge podcast / show, for a while now, I've been talking about we're not just ending a year, we're ending a 9-year cycle, guys. A 9-year cycle. So starting 2026, we begin a new year, but we also begin a new cycle. So for everybody that's in like the spiritual communities, we're all getting our energy ready. You know, maybe you're not in a spiritual community, but maybe you're realizing that like you're bumping up too, right? Let's play a game. All right. You're going to put a 1 in the comments if any of these things have happened to you recently within the past like month or so. All right. Put a 1 in the comments if you started losing people out of your life. Whoa. Right? Get in there, Yogi. Thank you for the gift. Right? Put a 1 in the comments if you're having like some sort of changeover in your life, whether it's your diet or your behaviors or your habits, right? Like you're wanting to do things more positively. You want to move away from negativity, right? Everybody's getting ready for this new year, new cycle. So don't be surprised if you also are moving in that direction. We've just come out of a powerful, energetic season. You know, October brought a lot of reflection, release, and sometimes chaos. And now we're walking into November, ready for new opportunities, new lessons, and a lighter heart. So let's start by grounding our energy together with an affirmation for this new cycle. So close your eyes, take a deep breath in with me. Exhale anything that has been weighing you down. And repeat after me. I release what has ended with gratitude and welcome new beginnings with trust. I release what has ended with gratitude and welcome new beginnings with trust. Okay? If you're feeling ready for this next chapter in your life, drop an I am ready in the comments. Drop an I am ready in the comments. All right, Queen Snow is ready. I'm ready too, girl. You and I are right there together. I guess it's just you and me. just me and Queen Snow. All right, well, let's talk about what the cosmic weather for the week is going to be ahead, because the stars have a lot to say about this transition from October into November. All right, so this week we have October 27th to November 2nd is characterized by a major energy shift, bringing a focus on your career, emotional balance, and relationship harmony. Ooh. Key transits include the moon moving through Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. Mars enters Scorpio, and Mercury enters Sagittarius. Now, to those of you that don't study astrology, you're kind of like, what does that mean, Uma? It just means that there can be some impulsiveness this week. We love that on streams, don't we? Right? We love that on streams when people are impulsively streaming. Yes, David, we do. But aside from impulsiveness, of course, it's going to emphasize the need for discipline And it can also, this week can also emphasize collaboration, communication, and taking bold steps. All right. Because remember, we have Mars in Scorpio, and that intensifies drive and passion. So let's talk about this week, what's going to happen astrologically, astrologically, and then let's talk about your horoscopes for the week. So this week we have the moon moving through Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, and this is a transit that encourages a mix of adventurous impulses, disciplined action, and intuitive reflection. I feel like, do you guys feel like this is happening to you already? Because I feel like I'm in this zone, but an impulse for a Capricorn is like, I'm going to spend $5,000 and get my website redone, right? Like that's a Capricorn impulse. And I'm literally talking to somebody right now about doing that. So anyways, has anybody else been feeling this like impulsive energy, right? Mars also enters Scorpio this week, which brings intense energy, drive, and passion, particularly in the realms of transformation and deeper focus. And Mercury enters Sagittarius. So this shifts communication towards optimism, curiosity, and a more adventurous mindset. I'm going to say there's going to be a lot of heavy flirting this week. That's my prediction. What do you guys think? Because we know if you know a Sagittarius energy, they're very fun and flirty. They don't take like anything seriously, So if we have Mercury in Sagittarius, I think it's going to affect all the signs where we're going to have some restless mindsets, some flirty behavior, Now we do have Venus in Libra. As Venus prepares to enter Libra, the focus shifts towards harmony and balance, especially in relationships. So if we have, couples that are quarreling or on the outs, we can see some harmony restored this week because Venus is in Libra. And then we do have a Mercury opposing Uranus, and this aspect can bring sudden changes in plans or moods, making it important to focus on your mental stability. So lots, like we said, there's a lot of things going on this week. Now, I know you guys are like listening and saying, okay, that's great, Uma. I don't study the planets. I don't know what's going on. So could you break that down for me in layman's terms, right? Cool. That's what I'm going to do. For career and professional life, and this is for all the signs. We haven't gotten into the horoscopes yet, but for all the signs, for career and professional life, this week is ideal for focusing on work, professional relationships, and achieving goals with energies that support teamwork and leadership. So like I just told you, I have a meeting this week with two powerhouse women that they're going to like look at my business and transform it. Great use of my energy. And if I'm going to be impulsive, you might as well be impulsive about making, your life better, right? This week, you may experience a push for emotional honesty and renewal with the potential for both sudden change and a need for discipline in your feelings. And relationships and communication, be open to spontaneous connection, but also mindful of emotional clarity. All right. It's a time to evaluate your connections and set healthy boundaries. So if you guys have been kind of like looking at the people in your life and wondering, should you stay? Should you go? That's kind of following the energy of this week. All right. This week, you really just want to be mindful of your moods, be authentic, prioritize what matters most to you, and embrace collaboration. Work with others, like network, guys, collaborate. It's like the sign of the future. All right, let's get into our weekly horoscopes. These are the horoscopes for this week, Monday, October 27th to November 2nd, Sunday, November 2nd. We're going to start with Aries. Oh, and this information is from Tango. All right, tango.com. You can get all this information if you missed any part of this. All right, Aries, your zodiac sign is Oh, they did tarot. Oh, we can't do this, guys, because I do my own tarot card readings. Hold up, wait a minute. We're gonna have to find a different site because we do the Tarotscopes. That's what they call them, Tarotscopes, right? When instead of horoscopes, looking at the Horatius, right? We're looking at the tarot. So we're gonna get off of Tango. Sorry, guys. And I'm just gonna quickly pick something. What do you guys think? Should we go to California Psychics? Should we go to people.com? Should we go to Yahoo? Write it in the comments. Where do you guys think we should go for our horoscopes this week? All right. Where do you guys want to go? All right, we're going to go with people.com. Thank you, Little Red. Okay, so we're going to get the weekly horoscopes from people.com. It is October 26th to November 1st. So they did like Sunday to Saturday. All right, cool. We can still live with it. Okay, Aries. In recent weeks, it is likely you felt a deep hunger and urge to merge Aries. You have felt a desire to unite with another in body, mind, and soul. Ooh, oh my, Aries. Sex and intimacy could be very profound now, but this is likely to affect established couples more so than singles. Exploring your sexuality could be quite gratifying now. However, another way the cosmic energy could be affecting you is around large wealth matters. Perhaps you're suddenly spending a ton on large purchases. So, Aries, just be aware of your spending habits this week. Taurus, do we have any Tauruses in here? Put it in the comments, guys. If you are Taurus, put either Taurus or put your symbol in the comments. Taurus, partnerships have been a top priority in recent weeks, and it will continue to be for more to come. While you may have felt that you sometimes wish to stand your ground, you may have realized that now is not the time to do so. In fact, by working with the right partner in business or love, you could truly go much further at this time. So, Taurus, it feels like partnership is going to be on your priority list this week. That's what we're looking at for Taurus. Gemini, life has certainly been especially busy, Gemini, and it will likely continue to be for the weeks ahead. You've been juggling a million irons in the fire, assessing routines and responsibilities, and wondering how you can get everything done on your to-do list. Employment matters have likely been rather significant, whether it's finding a new job or polishing off major projects. If there's any tension with work or coworkers, find a way to approach them with solutions rather than stressing them out. That's for Gemini this week. Cancer, passion and pleasure have been top priorities as of late and will continue to be in the weeks to come. In truth, this is one of the most significant periods, in a 2-year cycle for singles to find someone who lights their heart on fire. True love is an action, so be sure to prioritize the love you give and how you find it now. That is the message for Cancer. Leo, there's a lot of activity going on at home, Leo. It appears your home, family, real estate, or domestic life have seen some motion or commotion. This energy will continue for weeks ahead. So if you felt a bit stressed out, it's best to try not to let it make you overly emotional. Instead, focus on stability, serenity, and finding a firm foundation. All right, that's the message for Leo. Do we have any Virgos in the house? Virgo, there's been a lot of mental activity for you in recent weeks, and it could continue on. First, it may have been that you've deeply engaged with intellectual pursuits or communications related projects, like a blog, interview, website launch, or contract. On another note, you may find that you've been rushing about as far as travel has become especially important in recent times. This travel, Virgo, could be for business or pleasure, but regardless, it is important. All right, Sean, that is a message for Virgos. Libra. Libras just finished their birthday month. Libra, watch your finances in recent weeks and going forward. It appears that you're spending it faster than you are making it. On one hand, this can be helpful to get all your ducks in a row. As you save, work to find new income streams or fight for a better paying job. On the other hand, if you're paying down debt or working to do so, you could make great progress right now. That is for Libras, okay? Scorpio, do we have any Scorpios in the building? Scorpios, you've been electric in recent weeks. Going forward, you'll still feel fire coursing through your body and spirit. Now is a crucial period in a 2-year cycle for you to assert yourself professionally and personally in all ways to get whatever it is you desire. You're also oozing confidence more than usual at this time, and people could be captivated by your magnetism. That is for you, Scorpios. All right, do we have any Saggies in the building? Sagittarius, I'm a Sag rising. All right, Sagittarius, in recent weeks, despite the possibility of festive energy, at times there's also been a deep desire to lie low and rest and recharge. You've been potentially focused on working on a major endeavor behind the scenes. It appears that this project will likely be ready to launch later in the year. Get a move on. On a separate note, if you're feeling extra anxiety or your health is suffering, it may be wise to meet with a specialist. That is the message for Sagittarius. Where's my Capricorns at? Where's my fellow Capricorns? Capricorn, your popularity has been soaring as of late. Woo! And the good times keep rolling. Now is an excellent time to circulate, expand your connections, and mix and mingle. Many events and parties could be on the docket. Joining communities and volunteering would also be particularly wonderful to do. On a separate note, you may be working hard to reach a major heartfelt hope or dream at this time. Go for it. All right, Aquarius. I know there's one Aquarius in here. It's time to be firing on all cylinders when it comes to your professional life, Aquarius. Climb that corporate ladder or reach for the stars. Now is a magnificent time to launch a new project, aim for an award, or fight for a higher promotion or job. Time is of the essence, Aquarius, so make it count. Authority figures and the public may be paying more attention to you now. Aim for the crown. That is for Aquarius. And our last sign for the horoscopes today is Pisces. Pisces, there's been a hunger for adventure in you, and the call of the wild has been roaring in your soul. This is an ideal time to pursue expansion in any way you possibly can. While this most often can relate to travel, it can also relate to intellectual, spiritual, or professional growth. That is the message for Pisces, and for all the zodiac signs, the horoscope for this week. All right, guys, how many of you identify with your horoscope? I know that I did. I liked my horoscope for the week. Did you guys like yours? I'm Capricorn Sun, Gemini Moon, and Sag Rising, and they like all kind of worked out well for me this week. They're all talking about moving ahead, and I'm so seriously busy with work. It's like, I know at this point I need to hire like a personal assistant, but you know, try to tell a Capricorn to delegate and then see what happens. All right, guys, welcome to Uma's Lotus Lounge. It's a featured stream here on the MeetMe app and live streamed to the Lotus Lounge podcast on iHeart, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, and also live on YouTube. So we're going to come to the part in my show when I talk about the positive news of the week, because frankly, I feel like there's too much negative news in the world, and people like to focus on the negative. But as much as there's bad things happening, do you guys know that there's good things happening too? So let's talk about it, okay? Now, we're going to start with something that's a little bit more research, right? Did you know that neuroscience reveals when anger rises, your emotional brain takes over and controls you, but staying calm strengthens your thinking brain, helping you become calmer, smarter, and much harder to manipulate. All right. So this is positive news because now we're learning that not only is it harmful to your health to get angry, right? It's also healing to not respond or to be calm, and it actually strengthens your brain. So kudos to this is a Facebook group called EFT, MRA, EFT, and Matrix Reimprinting courses and resources for this information. All right, here's a feel good thing. Did you know in Japan, many supermarkets now include a photo of the farmer on fruit and vegetable boxes? All right, this is what the picture looks like. So you go to buy your fruits and vegetables in Japan, and there's the pictures of the farmers next to the fruit and the vegetables, right? So Japan did this as a growing trend aimed to build trust between consumers and producers. Shoppers can see exactly who grew their food, where it came from, and how it was cultivated. The practice also supports small local farmers, helping them gain recognition and fairer prices. Researchers at the University of Tokyo note that this transparency increases consumer confidence and encourages people to buy locally grown produce, strengthening community-based agriculture. So, how would you guys feel? Tell me in the comments. How would you feel if you went to your grocery store and you went to pick up some tomatoes and then you see a farmer's profile there? You see their picture, you see their name. Would it make you want to buy that more, or it doesn't bother you? You're just looking at the fruit and vegetables. You don't care who grew it, right? Like, what would that do for you? Farmer faces sell freshness. I love it. I had somebody comment on my Facebook profile about this, and she said, it's interesting. I like it. And if we're being perfectly honest, I'm running experiments on whose stuff tastes better. Last week, we tried Joe's bell peppers. Let's see how Janet's bell peppers are this week, right? And I was like, okay, that's interesting, but don't you feel like that's going to give the farmers a complex? And she's like, no. In fact, it'll be the opposite, because quality would skyrocket. And then the people will start asking questions, right? Like, why is Janet's bell peppers better than Joe's? And then Janet's going to start hosting information sessions, community classes for people that want to learn. And now we have community involved, local farm fresh food. That's a vision, isn't it, guys? That's a whole vision. So I'm like, yeah, let's run with that and let's manifest that, right? All right. And then, so nobody has any thoughts on that? I think it's a great idea. And I would love to see our farmers on the produce stands when we're buying fruits and vegetables. I think it just like fosters that farm to table, community. And then I have one more thing for you guys. This came from Neil deGrasse Tyson's Facebook group, right? And it's about this Hong Kong billionaire who siphoned, right? That's a picture of him and his wife. I got this off of Facebook. So Hong Kong property billionaire, he's not a millionaire, guys. He's a billionaire. Hu Sang-fung passed down $42 billion fortune to last 1,750 years. Let me explain how. Instead of handing his 42 billion fortune directly to his son, the late Hong Kong tycoon Wei San-fun placed it in a trust fund. His family only receives a fixed monthly allowance, a setup that would literally take around 1,750 years to spend at that rate. So some critics are calling it stingy. What do you guys think? But in truth, it may be a clever long-term strategy. He worried about his son's playboy lifestyle and lack of business focus, so he made sure his descendants could live comfortably without ever being able to burn through the entire fortune. So this is from New York, USA. It is a reminder that true wealth planning is not about short-term indulgence, but about protecting a legacy for generations to come. Deja 8999 says that's a good idea. I actually am thinking it's a great idea, Deja. Like I'm thinking, gosh, if I became a billionaire, I might do that for I might do that for my kids too, right? That would be something to do for the kids as well. All right, that was our positive news for the week. Welcome in, guys. This is Uma's Lotus Lounge. It is a featured stream here on the MeetMe app, and it is being live streamed to the Lotus Lounge podcast and YouTube as well. So my talk for today is October endings and November beginnings. This time of year is such a spiritual checkpoint. October energetically is about endings, right? Closing old cycles, finishing lessons, releasing what no longer aligns. And November, that's the energy of rebirth. It's a reminder that every ending opens a doorway to something new. You know how we have that saying, with every ending comes a new beginning, right? But here's the secret. You can't step into your new beginning if you're still holding on to what's already complete. Whether that's a relationship, a mindset, or even an identity you've outgrown, it's time to say thank you and let it go. So this topic really resonates for me because, especially being on the MeetMe app, I have enjoyed an incredible 5 years with you guys, okay? Ooh, we need a bell for that. Yes, Uma has been a streamer on the MeetMe app for 5 years. And I have been a featured show host for 4 of those years. And I've been a top badge for 3 of those years. So my top badge is on hold right now. And November, it comes off hold because you can only have your top badge on for like a certain number of months. And I have to put it back on in November, but I haven't been meeting my goal recently. You know, top badges on the MeetMe app, we have to make 80K a week to keep our badge. So there is a very, 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 very strong possibility that I'm going to lose my top badge come November when I turn it back on. But I'm okay with it because, like we just said, right? Like we just said, October is about closing old cycles. November is about rebirth, right? When you've outgrown something, you have to let it go. You can't let your emotions get involved. You know what I'm saying? So even though I may lose my top badge on this app, that's okay. I am still a streamer. I will always be a streamer, right, guys? So maybe I'm not going to be on here as much as I used to be, but I can check in from time to time and see how you guys are doing, right? It all comes down to what's the most important thing. And we got a wheel. Wouldn't that have been great if we got the wheel and we, thank you, Afro. You will be getting a reading at the end of the live. So that's the secret, guys. Okay. You can't step into your new beginnings if you're still holding on to the past. So as we end October, this is a great time to ask yourself, what is it time to let go of? For Uma, it may be time to let go of my top badge. It may be time to let go of MeetMe, right? But that's okay, because with every ending, there is a new beginning. So today, I invite you to try a simple ritual. Grab 2 pieces of paper. On one, write everything down that you're releasing. And on the other, write what you are ready to receive. When you're done, burn or tear the first and keep the second somewhere sacred. If you have an altar, if you have a beautiful little box, if you have a diary, and keep it as a promise to yourself. We honor the ending so that the beginning has room to grow, right? Anybody else going through endings like Uma? We'll see. Like I told that to my man. Thank you, Lily. I told that to my man. I was like, you know, I think it's time for me to hang up the old. Ooh, I like that one. Thank you, Lily. I told my man, I'm like, I think it's time for me to like let go of my MeetMe top badge and maybe even let go of my MeetMe account. And he just looked at me and he's like, Uma, now you know good and darn well that your Lotus family is not going to let you let go of your badge or definitely let go of your account. He's like, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes, right? All right, guys, welcome into my featured stream. We're going to do the Tarotscopes for each of the Zodiac signs. Each of the signs is going to get one card as a little general guidance for this week. And then after that, if anyone sent a 1K gift, you will get your own special message about this week and what you should know, all right? According to the spiritual guidance. As of right now, we have Afro in the lead. So thank you, Afro. We are going to be doing a little mini reading for Afro. But let's first start with the earth signs. Do we have Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo in here? Let's go. Capricorn, 9 of air. This is saying be careful of your thoughts, right? Your thoughts can create negativity. And if that negativity allows to spread, it can affect your manifesting. Okay, interesting side story, because y'all know Uma got like a million stories, right? Thank you, Rob. So this weekend, I had an amazing weekend, right? I taught a class on Saturday. I went to a festival on Sunday. I worked the festival. So it was great. I got to make new clients. I got to network. I got to collab. I got to make money. Life was good this weekend. And then while I was at the festival, I had a slow moment where I didn't have that many clients. So I decided to go live, on TikTok. And I was like, let me just go live and show my TikTok family what I do for work and just chat with some people until another client came along. So imagine this, if you will. I'm standing at my table, right? And I have the camera just like this on me. And then there's people behind the camera that are walking in the hallways, right? And I'm chatting to you guys, and then somebody comes up behind the camera and they're like, oh, where are you located? What's your business? What do you do? So I'm talking to them or whatever. And then she's like, you know what? I want a mini healing session because my back has bad problems, whatever. And I was like, sure. So she went to go get her wallet to pay for the session. I told TikTok, I was like, all right, I'm getting ready to go. This lady on TikTok is like, you just read somebody on camera. How dare you? How dare you read somebody on camera? Like you're not protecting their privacy. And I'm like, and I tried to explain to her. I was like, ma'am, that's not a client. That's just somebody walking by my table. It's out in the open. Nothing she said to me is confidential because there's people all around as she's talking to me, right? And this woman swears, right? This woman swears. So I just blocked her because what do we do with trolls, guys? We block them, right? We don't entertain anymore. We don't engage. We block them. So I just blocked her. I was like, whatever. And right, this woman took it upon herself to go find me on Facebook, and then a barrage of insults on my Facebook page. So I'm laughing at each and every one of them because she's so wrong, right? So then she took it a step further because it's not enough for this Karen. It is not enough for this Karen to just harass me on social media. She contacted the event organizer, or so she said, that she was going to reach out and contact the event organizer to report me. Now, mind you, I have not had a really good run with this contact organizer, this event organizer, right? Because we had an incident that happened like 3 years ago, and I just started working with her again. So I wasn't sure if she still likes me or not, right? So I'm like, you know what? Why would this bad thing happen to me, right? Capricorn, 9 of air, watch your thoughts. And that's exactly what I did. I said, you know what? It is what it is. I can't control her. She's going to do what she's going to do. So all I did was I wrote the event organizer. I explained it to her, what happened. And she said, Uma, don't even worry about it. You are an ethical reader. Everybody knows you in the community. I trust you. But even if I didn't trust you, I need you to know I was there when you went live. You didn't have any clients. I saw you. I was at the next table getting a reading. I was like, oh, I didn't know, right? I didn't know. So I was like, okay. Cool. So thank you for that. And it made me realize, because I didn't allow my negative thoughts to take over, this situation ended well. You know what I'm saying? It ended well. So that's the message for Capricorn. All right. Be careful and watch your thoughts. Now, Taurus, you also have some sort of negative news coming in. All right. Life experience. This is about, the tower. So it seems like something is going to come crashing down this week, Taurus. Oof. But I always say to people, behind every rain cloud, there is a rainbow. So whatever happens this week, Taurus, just remind yourself that it's going to happen. You can't control things, but you can control your attitude. So make sure you stay positive or find your positivity through whatever storm you're going through. All right. That is for Capricorn. That's for Taurus. And now for Virgo. Virgo, you have decisions to make this week. 7 of Water tells me that things are not entirely, as they appear, and you may have some confusion. So your spirit guides are saying, be careful in making your choices this week. You have to make an important decision, but you have to make the right decision that aligns with your destiny. So take some time if need be before you make decisions, Virgo. All right. That is the earth signs for the week. Oh, Wheel, send that Frankenstein. Tio, thank you. Tio will also be getting a message for the week after we are done. We did the earth signs. Let's do the water signs. Do we have any Pisces, Cancer, Scorpios in here? Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. Here is your message for the week. Pisces, Queen of Air. It's time to be less emotional and more logical, Pisces. So this week, we're asking you to really look at things with an objective eye, take your emotions out of it, and try to see what the big picture is. All right. There's a lot to learn, and your logical mind can access the lessons. Cancer, 5 of Water tells me things are not turning out the way you'd hope. So you got to check your people. You got to check your energy. You got to try to figure out, why is everything slumping low, and lift yourself back up. Okay. That's going to be your homework this week, Cancer. And Scorpio, you are just thriving. Right now, you are the only water sign going through it, not going through it, right? The Empress is about giving birth to your dreams. All right. Nourishing yourself, self-care, taking care of your energy and yourself. So Scorpio, you have a good week ahead. Pisces and Cancer, you're going to struggle a little bit, the same way that the Capricorn and Taurus is going to struggle this week. All right. Scorpio season looks good. Facts. All right. We did the earth signs. We did the water signs. Let's go to the fire signs. All right. Do we have any Aries, Leo, Sagittarius in here? Aries, you got the moon. Your spirit guides are saying pay attention to your intuition, and you may be dealing with people where things are going on behind the scenes. So you got to really try to understand what's going on. I would say be more perceptive. All right, Aries, be more perceptive. And then we have Leo, 8 of Water. This is a breakup card, but it's usually when you're leaving the people, right? So Leo, you might be done with something or someone, and you're getting ready to move on because you're just having spiritual and emotional growth. So congratulations to you, Leo. You may be moving on, but you're moving on to bigger and better things. And then finally, Sagittarius, look at you, Sagittarius. We have Queen of Fire, right? You are feeling confident and sassy this week. You are doing your thing, right? So go for gold, go for the stars, right? Aim for the moon, reach for the stars, because right now it is time for you to stretch your wings and fly. I have this theory that people live out their top 3 zodiac signs over the years, because my man has been telling me, like, he's like, babe, you're so spicy right now, right? Like, you're making all these little sassy videos. You're making all these cute little sexy photos for the gram. He's like, I like this part of you. I was like, yeah, it's here until January. Why would I say that? Why would I say it's here till January? because January Capricorn hits. And if you know a Capricorn, it's always office time, okay? Always office time. Yes, Afro, Capricorn season, okay? So I feel like January, I'm like January, February, March, I'm going to be like in my Capricorn prime zone. And then I feel like May, June, July, I'm in my Gemini sass zone because I tend to get into a lot of fights around May, June, July. Afro, if you know, you know. And then like I find like October, November, December, I'm in my Sag energy where I'm kind of like flirty, fun, super cute, right? Okay, so those are the messages for the fire signs. And finally, let's end with air. So if you are an Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, let me know that you're in here. I have a message for you for this week, okay? All right, Aquarius, 6 of water. This tells me that this week is going to be good with your kids, right? Because this talks about kids, childhood. It also tells me that you may have somebody from your past re-emerging. And you know, when we have this card, it's a message that says, let the past come in, have your nostalgia, but let the past leave because there's no room in your future for the past, okay, Aquarians? So whoever's coming back from the past, greet them, have a good sit down, have a good chat, offer them some water, some iced tea, and then let them leave, okay? Walk right back out to where you came from because we're focused on the future, right, Aquarius? Exactly, Queen. She said, I'm Aquarius and I don't want the past, not for nothing, right? Okay, Gemini. Look at you, Gemini. Winning 6 of fire. That is the victory card. You have completed some sort of difficulty in your life. This could have been fighting other people. This could have been fighting yourself, or this just could have been like difficult times. And this week looks glorious for you. All right, Gemini. So with this card, it says, congratulations. Good news is on its way. Public recognition and rewards. All right. Shout out to you, Afro. My bestie's in the building. And he is a Gemini, so he's going to be having a wonderful week. And finally, our Libras, we got the Hermit card. You might be pulling in this week, Libra. You might be wanting to spend time alone, but really what you're doing is some spiritual self-discovery, all right? You're learning, you're growing, you're processing, and you're up-leveling. That is the most important thing, all right? So congratulations to you, Libra. Anytime you spend time alone in solitude and allowing your thoughts to roam, it's always going to lead you to a higher place. I strongly believe in the power of solitude. Okay? All right. Those are the Tarotscopes for the 12 zodiac signs. As we end the show, I'm going to end the show now before I do the the personal readings for Queen Snow Angel and Aphrodisiac. So I want to thank everybody on YouTube and on my podcast for listening in. I hope you enjoyed these messages, and please drop me a comment and let me know what you guys thought. John Byrne on YouTube said, my mother and father didn't marry each other because of star signs. Well, that's unfortunate. And Tio, of course, you know. That's unfortunate, John Byrne, because, you know, as much as I love astrology and I love studying astrology, it should never like color your vision on what you can and can't do. It's just supposed to make you more aware. You know what I mean? Like, that's all it is. If you find out that you're like marrying your opposing sign, it doesn't mean you can't marry them. It just means that you have to be aware and more loving to that person because they are going to do the opposite of you. But isn't there a saying like opposites attract, right? So opposites attract. So what? Love is love and love always wins. All right. So on that note, we're going to end the podcast. Thanks, guys, for showing up. I hope you had a great time, and I'll see you again next week.